Hello, everyone. Let's get started. My name is Julio Loredo, and I am the Senior Director of Media at Shipt. Shipt is a same day delivery platform, and we connect our customers, our members, to their local stores and get their orders to their doors fast. My job is to make sure that the right person finds us at exactly the right time and at the right moment. And today I want to talk to you about what happens when the media platforms you advertise on start moving faster than your team can keep up. It's the daily and moving faster even today. And more importantly, how we solved it, how we continue to solve it. And let's get into it. So I'll be really clear right up front with you. I am not an AI expert. I am a media leader who is currently figuring this out. And honestly, I think being in this room with this community is the right place to say that out loud because it's not about having all the answers before you move. It's about moving anyway, figuring it out, and bringing people with you. I am a Latino leader in tech who was handed a problem and built something that is working. That's what this talk is. My job sits at the intersection of media strategy, performance, and creative in plain English. My job is to make every marketing dollar find the right person at the right moment. A few years ago, the platforms that we work with and advertise on started demanding something we weren't ready for: more creative, faster formats that we could physically produce. And this talk is about how we continue to solve that, what worked, what didn't, what we're going to do differently. If you're navigating AI change in your own work, I think you'll walk away, and I hope that you walk away with something concrete today. So here's the world we're operating in. Four things happened almost simultaneously, and they changed everything. First, search is going visual. Google launched something called Performance Max, and I'll call it PMax from here. But PMax is one campaign that runs across every Google surface at the same time: search, YouTube, Gmail, Maps, display banners, all of it. And it may eventually replace traditional search advertising entirely. You heard it here first. And second, social is fully automated. Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, launched a product called Advantage Plus. Advantage Plus is not a feature; it is the it's a product now, and it makes the targeting decisions. Our job is to opt in and give it what it needs, or we lose ground to competitors who actually do that. Thirdly, platforms now decide for you. The algorithm determines where your ads go, what it runs, and who it sees. What you control is what you feed it. And then lastly, here's the principle that drives everything that we're doing and what I'm going to show you today. The brands winning right now aren't fighting AI. They're fueling it with great creative. And with that said, this slide shows a little bit of the before and after on our current media structure and what's working now. So on the left, the old model, we had manual targeting, one platform at a time, one audience, one message, really heavy build time, slower launches, and testing that took, I would say, longer in regards to receiving the results. When we would receive the results, at that point, they were actually outdated. And so we couldn't act on them as quickly as we could. On the front, where we are today, automated targeting at scale. We're reaching the most relevant person with a personalized message across multiple channels simultaneously. Campaigns that practically stand up on themselves, and testing that moves at the actual pace of the landscape. The shift sounds great on paper. I will say that. The problem is that the old creative production model was never built for any of this. And we'll get into that in a minute. This is the core idea. So everything I'm going to show you today comes back to this one sentence. Creative is the number one performance variable you can still control. Think about what that means. The algorithms handle targeting, the algorithms handle the delivery, the algorithms decide when and where your ad units are going to run. You don't control any of that anymore. What you do control, which is the part I want to hone in on, is the fuel you pour into it, the creative, the images, the copy, the message. The more variations you give the algorithm, the more it can test, optimize, and find what actually converts. You put great creative in, the algorithm tests it automatically, finds the winner, and scales what works. The output is lower cost per acquisition or cost per conversion, higher return on your ad spend. You're making more dollars for your campaigns, more and faster learning cycles, of course. And the creative is the one lever that lets the one lever really left that's fully in your hands. So let me get specific. Performance Max, and as I mentioned, PMax, replaced Google's old smart shopping campaign format. And when I say it runs everywhere, I mean it literally runs everywhere. It runs across search, display, YouTube, Gmail, Maps, Discovery, all at the same time for a single campaign. You can give it audience signals, basically hints about who your best customers are, and it uses those to guide targeting without restricting who it can reach. We also use it to optimize simultaneously across 3 business goals, which is order volume, new members, and also first-time orders. Now for the numbers. Compared to our old product listing ads format, PMax delivered 334% stronger return on advertising spend, or ROAS, meaning for every dollar we put in, we got nearly 4.5 times more revenue. We had 149% more conversion, 78% higher conversion rate, meaning a much higher percentage of clicks turned into actual customers. Those aren't projections. That is certainly our internal data, and the thesis holds. PMax is only as good as what you feed it. In regards to Meta Advantage Plus, same story for Meta, Facebook and Instagram, of course. They automate 5 things simultaneously. Who you're targeting, what creative gets shown, where it's placed, how the budget gets distributed, and even where the click lands, your website, your app, or a shop page. The algorithm knows your customer better than your media plan does. And I say that as a media planner, right? So that's not me being dramatic. It's really what the data shows. And I've learned to embrace that. Compared to our standard non-Advantage Plus campaigns, 71% lower cost per click, meaning we pay significantly less every time someone taps our ad, 92% stronger view rate. And the creative strategy shifts from one message to one audience to a one-to-many approach. Maximum outputs, if I could say, and personalized messages. The machine matches the right creative to the right person. Notice the pattern. Both Google and Meta reward the same thing. They reward volume, they reward variety, and quality of the creative inputs. So it doesn't stop at Google and Meta, and I will just briefly talk about Yahoo. The AI-powered model has spread across the full media stack for us. On the search side, Google launched AI Max for search, and I want to pause here because this is genuinely breaking news, by the way. Just 6 days ago, on April 15th, Google now, or 7 days ago, Google announced that dynamic ads, search ads, the older format, the format that I have been using for years, that format is being replaced with AI Max. It is being retired completely. So all advertisers will automatically migrate to AI Max by September 26, 2026. This is not optional. If you're in paid search or you work with anyone who is, this affects you right now. The speed at which things are moving in the media world with AI is faster and faster, and on a daily basis. We do our best to keep up, promise you. AI Max expands your reach to search queries you never even bid on. Automatically customizes ad text and matches destination URLs to what someone was actually looking for. Less manual control, more algorithmic reach and efficiency in return. And then there's Yahoo. Yahoo Blueprint DSP. DSP, of course, is a demand-side platform. It's a technology that automatically buys ad space, think about display ads or CTV, across the internet on your behalf or your company's behalf. And Yahoo's version uses AI to handle bidding, forecasting, audience building as well, and creative optimization. It even has an AI forecasting tool that helps predict how campaigns will be formed before you even spend $1. And so the way that we think about it, or I think about it, Google covers search intent, people that are actively searching for something. Meta covers that social feed, and Yahoo Blueprint covers the open web and broad reach. Everywhere else, together, it's a complete triangle from our point of view. So here's where the tension lies. So you now understand why the platforms need more creative, more formats, more messages, more variations, more frequent refreshes. Can't say that more often. I say that every day almost. But our production model, our production to produce those assets was built for a different era. It was built for campaigns. It wasn't built for algorithms. So we hit 4 walls at once. First, we didn't have enough assets, not enough variations, the wrong formats. Nothing purpose-built for what AI platforms actually need. And then second, the budget reality, high quality, on-brand creative at volume is expensive. You can't shoot a new campaign, for example, every 2 weeks. I mean, you can. We're not at that capacity. Creative fatigue. On social and display, an ad starts losing effectiveness faster than your production team can refresh it. That's a reality. And when a seasonal moment hits, a snowstorm, a big game, World Cup coming up, you need creative overnight. Your old process, or our old process, couldn't keep up. It couldn't do that. And then lastly, testing at scale. For results to be statistically meaningful, for you to actually learn what works, you need wide variety, lots of concepts, ad platforms, all sizes. That is a real enormous production lift under the old model. So AI addresses all 4 of those directly. That's what I want to show you next. So Shipt and Monk's workflow. What's Monk's? Monk's is our media agency of record. We work with them to place our media buys, and they have an arm of their agency for creative. So let me walk you through exactly how we do this with Monk's. We work with their proprietary AI tools to the table. They bring that to the table. We work with them. But I want to be clear. The process I'm describing is one you can build with any AI tool. The tools will vary. The thinking is truly what matters. So if you don't work with any media agency, there's still the learnings in the thinking around how to set this up is still foundational. The brief. The media team defines a need. It truly is a brief. It's a sheet of paper where we build out what's the campaign, what seasonal moments are we going after within that campaign or time frame. What is the audience? What's the audience gap? What platforms are we going to be running on? Message, guardrails. They're all set. I can't overstate how important this step is. The brief is everything, and we'll come back to that in a few minutes. Sourcing assets. Our creative team shoots or selects brand photography specifically designed for AI iteration. The Shipt bag, seasonal items, lifestyle shots, doors. Remember, we get those groceries directly to your door. The doors are a signal on what we do as a business. And then content that can be remixed. Our agency, Monks, takes that in, we hand it off. All of the assets are approved, the copy direction is approved, the platform specs are approved. It's not a handoff, though, it's collaboration. That distinction really does matter. GenAI development. Monks generates backgrounds for us, resizes, and copy variations at scale using their AI tools. One brief, dozens of outputs. And this is a non-negotiable. Human review. Every asset goes through multiple rounds of Shipt creative team and brand team review. The AI generates, humans approve. We do not ship anything without that step ever. And then lastly, platform activation. Final assets go into Performance Max or PMax Advantage Plus, Google AI Max Search, and Yahoo Blueprint DSP. The platform test, they optimize, and they scale what wins. We went from brief to 50 plus platform ready assets in a fraction of the time it used to take. That, I will tell you, is truly the unlock. So stick with me, I'm getting somewhere. It's going to be really exciting here. So here's the technology stack we use with Monks. There are 3 proprietary tools, but let me give you a little bit of the underlying concept for each, because you can apply these thinking with any tool that you're going to use. It's all about audience understanding. Monks uses a proprietary tool we call Persona Flow that allows us to understand there's no surveys, there's no focus groups. It understands where our data points are and who the person could potentially be to engage. Whether there's a media planning prompt or a media planning tool that you use, it's the equivalent of the question for any team. Where should we be showing up? And what should that message be? And then lastly, it's the creation at scale. That's a tool they use called Digital Twins. Again, there are tools out there to be able to be used to do this. But you give it the imagery, a seasonal background, some copy direction, and it will start to produce assets for you. The key phrase on this slide, each stage has a human decision point. The AI runs on rails that our team sets. That's not a feature, that's a competitive advantage. So here's where the fun starts. The brief we give our agency was simple. Make ads that feel like they were made today. If it's raining outside, show soup delivery. Game day, show snacks that can be delivered. Somebody's sick, show medicine at the door. Contextual advertising has always been the dream. I tell you, it has always been the dream. The right message in the right moment. We say that all the time. Achieving that has always been the North Star. The problem was production. That was a constraint. That is a constraint. And you can't shoot, again, unless you can, separate campaigns for every possible situation. One core photo shoot, we used one bag, a Shipt bag, and from that we produced creatives for rainstorms, traffic jams, cold and flu season, movie nights, think Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving. The bag is the constant. The bag is the constant. The context does the work. And every single one of those assets is platform ready, sized correctly, and on brand. That would have taken months under the old model. With GenAI and a strong brief, we did it in a fraction of the time. Here's a couple additional actual outputs: one photo shoot, one core brand photography, the Shipt bag being versatile. AI generated all of the seasonal backgrounds that you see and the copy. We just provided the bag. This is both contextual relevant and it's both on brand. So 12 distinct themes produced from one brief. Cold and flu, health and wellness, I could go on and on. You can read that on your own once this gets distributed. The variety, the algorithm needs to learn and optimize, we're now there. There's so many different points that the algorithms are looking for. As I mentioned earlier, when we shifted and platforms continue to shift to AI, they need more and more different creative variations because they're finding people that we would have never found from just looking at one particular audience or one particular seasonal moment or use case. There's a part of the story that doesn't get talked about enough, I believe, and it's actually what made our creative team the believers in this. Every platform wants a different ad size. Facebook feed is a square, stories and reels are vertical. Display banner is a small horizontal rectangle, which actually comes in different sizes. YouTube has its own format, for example. PMax needs assets simultaneously. Yahoo looks a little bit more for native ads, and so on and so forth. But in the old world, manually resizing 50 assets across 6 different formats would take weeks of production. With AI, it's automated with human review built in, so our team still fine tunes where it matters. This might sound like a production efficiency story, but here's what it actually is, and it's a strategy story. When your team isn't spending weeks on production, busy work, they're spending that time on strategy, concepting, and quality decisions. Their jobs got better. That's not something I assumed. That is something that I've heard repeatedly from our creative team. I said it at the beginning that this is a talk about media, about me being a media leader who had to figure this out and is continuing to figure this out on a daily basis. This is a slide that mattered the most to me when I was thinking about this chat with you and the approach. And I think it's the one that matters the most, I believe, possibly to you and the folks in this room, because I know some of you are thinking about what AI means for your role, for your team, for the work you've spent years building, literally building expertise in, right? So here's what I learned. The AI does not know your brand. It doesn't know what feels culturally right, what's off brand, what your customers actually respond to. That judgment is irreplaceable, and you cannot outsource it. Every single asset we produce goes through multiple rounds of Shipt creative and brand review. The AI generates humans approve. We do not ship without that step. It's non-negotiable. We also made a specific decision. We do not generate human faces or voiceover with AI. You probably have heard this, or you probably have seen this in the past. You know exactly what you're looking at, right? So the AI generates, the AI will generate the backgrounds, as I mentioned, and we provide all of the connection in terms of what that approval looks like. The risk of getting humanity wrong culturally, representationally, is just too high. The AI does the backgrounds, as I mentioned, and will continue to approve humans. And here's what I want you to hear most clearly. Creative jobs at Shipt, as I mentioned, they did get better, not smaller. Our team spends less time on that production. They're spending more time on strategy, concepting, and decisions that actually require the human judgment. The AI is the muscle. Your team is still the brain. And as I continue to move through here, I'm just going to provide a few stats as I look at the time. But on Meta, our old standard campaigns, we saw our business as usual, or BAU, cost $1.78 every time someone had clicked our ad. With Advantage Plus, that dropped to 51 cents, and so on. We had an 82% higher conversion rate launching. These are real results, and I'm excited to talk about them today. This is something I genuinely find interesting, and I taught it something, and I think I see as something important about how to brief the work together. This chart shows the relative performance of our GenAI creative themes. The longer the bar, the better the performance. Not all GenAI creative is equal, and that's the point, and the data tells us where to invest. This is a number that made us believers. We looked at our app campaigns. We ran a direct test, GenAI, creative versus our standard business as usual and Meta app installs. We deployed 40 new assets, GenAI creative assets. The result, an 8% point lift in conversion rate, more app installs, more membership signups. One test, 8 points, permanent change in how we operate. That's what the proof point looks like. Here's where we're headed in 2026 and where we already are today. And looking at the second half of the year, we're looking at HTML5 display banners. On the audience side, we're getting more specific. Parent versus non-parent segmentation, right? Because the context of I needed 6-day essentials for yourself is different if you are buying essentials for your child, for example. And on the right, the guardrails column, what we're not doing. No AI generated faces, no voiceover, no shipping without human review. The guardrails are part of the strategy. Knowing where not to use a tool is important as knowing where to use it. And as I close, the three things I tell my past self and what I tell you today: start with the brief, not the tool. The quality of your GenAI output is directly proportional to the quality of your brief. If you walk away with one operational thing today, let it be this: spend the most time on the brief. Define your audience, define your message, define what to avoid, define the guardrails. Garbage in, garbage out is absolutely true here. A detailed brief is where your competitive advantage lies. Second, the algorithm is your partner. It's not autopilot. PMax Advantage Plus, optimize to whatever signal you give them. Feed them weak creative and they'll optimize efficiently toward weak results. Stay in the loop, review performance, refresh your assets, adjust your briefs. Your creative team is your competitive advantage. Every one of your competitors has access to the same tools. So what they don't have is your brand knowledge, your audience relationships. Protect that. Invest in that. The brands that win in GenAI are the ones where humans still make the important calls. The question isn't whether AI will change the creative process. It already has. The question is, are you going to shape how that works? So I close with this, with something personal. As I mentioned, I opened up saying I'm not an AI expert, and I meant it. But here's what I am. I'm a Latino leader in tech who was handed a problem, moved forward without a perfect roadmap, and starting to build something that is working. That's the whole story. That's what the community is about. We don't wait until we have all the answers. We build the capability, we put the guardrails in, we prove the results, and we bring everyone along. Bring everyone along. Interdepartmental. Somebody's not coming along, get them in vote. I tell that to my team almost on a daily basis. Bring them along. If you're working on this, I'm happy to, for any reach out. My email address is there, and I really appreciate this opportunity to speak with you today. Thank you.